Today is the last vlog, the 12th day of Christmas. Christmas is literally tomorrow, and I'm very excited for that. For me, tomorrow is Christmas Eve, which means Christmas Eve party, which is pretty much all day. But for you guys, for everyone watching this video, Christmas is tomorrow. And I hope everyone has a great Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays. I hope everyone has a good holiday. I hope everyone spends plenty of time with their family, and I hope everyone enjoys it. But I did say that this video would primarily be about what happened to me yesterday and why I was in the hospital, and I said I'd talk about it and I'd explain it. So I'm gonna sit down, get comfortable, and I'm gonna tell you the whole story in detail, even though I've said it about 50 million times, because yeah, you're gonna hear. I just, yeah, I'm about to talk about it. All right. So yesterday started off as a normal day. I planned to get blood work, and Ekaterina was gonna pick me up around 8, and I had my appointment at 8:30. I ended up getting there at about 8:06, and I went in, checked in, sat down, and waited. I walk in, there's these two women who were the people who take my blood. I sit in the chair, they ask me my questions. Did I fast? What's my name, birthday, whatever. Everything's going normal. And she says, all right, it's time to do it. And she's talking to her friend, like, whatever, they're co-workers, but they were friends. And all of a sudden, she sticks it in, and she goes, the vein's rolling. And I feel the needle. Let's say it was like here, and then it ends up over here. Straight 90-degree needle angle turn. Ridiculous. And I say, my vision's going black. It's like I had all my sight, and then it started closing in from the outside in. And then I had my eyes open, and it was pitch black. I could not see anything. Literally nothing. I lost an entire sense for who knows how long. I literally was blind. I had my eyes open. They said, oh, his eyes are fully dilated, completely dilated. Like, I was genuinely scared that I was going to end the day blind for the rest of my life. It was scary. But, what am I going to do? Jump up and scream? Can't do that. So I got to lock in, figure out how to fix this. So I'm just sitting there. They're talking to me. I have my eyes open even though I can't see. And they say, or they didn't say anything, but I hear the phone and I say, 911, what's your emergency? I'm thinking, what in the world? I told them, I said, oh, please don't call an ambulance. They cost so much money. I don't want an ambulance. And they said, well, we kind of have to. And I was like, all right. They said, is anyone here? I said, my girlfriend's here. She's in the car. And she goes, oh, is there a way we can call her? And I said, yes. I have still can't see at this point. Still cannot see. Even with my eyes open, it's pitch black. It looks like this. So, yeah, it literally looked like this. I knocked my phone out of my hand when I tried doing that last time. But it was pitch black. I had my eyes wide open, and it looked just like that. And she goes, all right, is there any way we can contact her? And I said, okay, yes. My phone's in my right pocket. I reach in my pocket, and I hand her my phone. Literally, hand her my phone. I couldn't see her. I just held out my phone in my hand. I said, my password's and they say, what's her name? And I have my eyes wide open, still can't see, and I laugh. And they say, why are you laughing? I said, well, because her name's Ekaterina, and no one's going to get that the first time. But it didn't click at the time that they needed her name to find her in my phone. But now that I think about it, yeah, it makes sense. So they didn't, they only needed her name to call her. So they go, oh, it's the one with the emojis. And I'm like, yes, that's her. So they call her. And poor Ekaterina, she's in her car. She gets a phone call from me. And then some girl's voice is talking to her. She was probably worried to death. But she comes in. And I say, how long has it been? Because I still cannot see. And they say, oh, it's been about 5 minutes. We think you had 2 seizures. And I'm like, seizures? What in the world? Um, but my vision's slowly starting to come back. I can see outlines. So like I knew there were 3 people in the room because I could see their outline. I couldn't see who was who. I could figure it out from the outline. But eventually my vision starts coming fully back. I can see good again. And at this point, my mom's here. The paramedics are in here. They're taking my blood pressure. The stretcher's in there. And I'm like, wow, all this for me, huh? No, I didn't actually say that, but I was like, all right, please don't give me anything. Please don't take me in the ambulance. I don't want to spend $2,000 for orange juice. I was very adamant about that. But then the guy, the paramedic, goes, oh, well, I don't know how he said it. I can't get the tone of voice right, but he basically said, we want you here for next Christmas, or do you want to be here for next Christmas? And I was like, well, when you put it like that, let's get me loaded up. Let's take me to the hospital already, right? So eventually when they say, all right, are you ready to stand up? They have 2 people on either arm, both arm, and they lift me. And then I sit down on the stretcher and I lay down. And I'm laying down and I'm like right at everyone's knee height level, laying down on the stretcher. And then they say, ready to lift them? And all of a sudden, I'm laying flat on my back at everyone's knee level, and boom, I'm in the sky. I'm taller than everyone. And I got my blood work in the back of a Walgreens at a LabCorp. So they're rolling me out of a Walgreens. It's like a CVS, how the pharmacy's in the back. It's the same thing for a Walgreens. And they're rolling me back, and I'm able to see over all these aisles, practically laying in a bed. But yeah, they take me into the back of the ambulance. I sit down, or like I'm sitting in the stretcher. They literally strap me in. It was a fun ride. It was very interesting, laying down in a moving vehicle while looking out the back instead of the front. It was interesting. And there were 4 paramedics in an ambulance, which I didn't know. I thought there would be 2, a driver and then someone who sits in the back. But it makes sense. There's 2 drivers and 2 people who sit in the back with you. And the guy who was sitting in the back with me, to my left, not the girl behind me, the guy who was sitting in the back to my left, that dude had all the wisdom. Dude was saying all the quotes in the book. We were just having a normal conversation. So at this point, we're on my way to the hospital and they unload me. It is so weird to think that my body was just moved from one place to another and I did nothing. People were doing it all for me. That's crazy. But they got me into this room, put me in, and then I'm sitting in the hospital bed, and I gotta tell this same story to 2 different paramedics, to my mom, to my grandparents, I'm telling this story to just about everybody in the book. And then just to top it all off, when I'm in the hospital, I got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 doctors / nurses / assistants that all worked on me. First girl comes in, it's the nurse. She sits me down, asks me what happened. I explain the whole story. Second girl comes in, I'm already laying down. She asks what's happening, and I say, oh, this, that, and the other thing. And then she says, sit up. I sit up. She puts this freaking plate behind my back. I don't know what it actually was. It was like something for x-ray. And she took an x-ray of my chest to, I guess, see heart stuff. I don't know. Then third woman comes in. It's a doctor. She asks me what happens. I explain the whole story to her again. At this point, I'm like done telling the story. And then her assistant comes in. I got to tell him the whole story. He gives me an EKG, which is like they stick a bunch of sticky stuff all over my body. And something happens. And then he leaves. And then it didn't work or something. So he came back, stuck more stuff all over my body, gave me another EKG. And that one was good. And then the 5th doctor comes in. This one's a guy. And we were talking. All these people were great, by the way, and cool. I was just getting sick and tired of telling the story about 5 and 10 million times. And this is the last time I'm telling the story. If anyone ever asks me, I'm going to just point at this video and say, here's the story. Because, man, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it isn't that big of a deal. I probably won't actually do that. I'll just tell the story. But, man, so I tell him the story, and he's like talking to me a little bit. I saw him probably the least out of everyone. The guy who did the EKG, though, he was like, oh, if you need anything, just let me know. I got you. So I was like, oh, can I have some water? So he brought me water, and that was very nice. But the thing is, I was hooked up to this machine. I had the blood pressure on me. I had the sticky stuff all over my body. So I couldn't, like, all my arms were hooked up. I had something on my finger, like on this finger. I had my blood pressure on my arm, and they were all hooked up to the right side. Nothing was hooked up to the left, except for the table where my water was. So I couldn't even reach it. I needed them to hand it to me, and then I had to hold it the whole time. And at this point, I still couldn't get visitors, which was something I didn't expect. I thought they would just be able to come in right away. But it makes sense because they need their room to work and all. And then I'm finally almost able to get visitors. They say, all right, we're almost ready. I say, okay, what else do we need to do? And she goes, well, and she pauses. And I'm like, oh boy. Can we draw more blood? And I said, oh my gosh, this was the scariest point. I said, I'm in here for drawing blood. Like, you want to take more from me? Come on now. And they were like, well, yeah, we think nothing. I was like, whatever. You can draw my blood. It's fine. So, stuck me again, got the IV in me, took more blood, and then I was able to see visitors. My girlfriend was there. She was with me the whole time, and as I said in the last video, I was very thankful for her to be there. And my mother was there, my mom, very thankful for her as well. She left work, came, and my dad eventually came. He had to leave work, and he came, and it was just a good family middle of the day leaving work reunion, But so 2 things I didn't know. One, they said, are you allowing visitors? Like, they asked me if I want to see my family. Like, and I'm thinking, well, what if I was, like, not in the state to make that decision? Like, do they just assume yes or assume no? And obviously I said yes. Like, I want to see my family. I'm sitting here laying in this hospital bed, freezing cold. They gave me some blankets though. Shout out to that nurse. She knew how to make them blankets comfy and keep me warm. But I'm like speechless just thinking back on it and talking about it. But the next thing I didn't know, the second thing I didn't know that you could only have 2 visitors at a time. So what happened was my girlfriend stayed in the whole time, and then my parents alternated. Which my girlfriend kept saying she felt bad. Ekaterina kept saying she felt bad that she was in there the whole time, and she felt both my parents should be in there the whole time. But that my mom kind of made that decision, and I didn't mind either way. Like, as long as 2 of the 3 of them were there, I'm happy. And I knew the other one was sitting outside the door. So I was good either way. And oh my goodness. So I was laying there. This was a whole 2-3 hour event. Like, I left my house at 8, and I probably didn't get home till 11:30. That's a lot to think about. That's a lot of my day gone. But it's okay, because I'm all right, and I'm chilling. But then another crazy thing happens. I get someone in the bed next to me, because it's one room, but there's able to have 2 patients in there. And guess who rolls in right next to me? My neighbor, my real life neighbor. They live right there across out of my window. My real life neighbor rolls in. I've been talking for 10 minutes. This is a long story. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah. But eventually I was able to leave. And they said everything was good. The only reason they needed to take blood work again was because on my EKG, they said something was different that they're not used to seeing, but it could be normal for me, which is weird. But they said I didn't have to worry about it because my blood work was fine. I was able to leave, and then you saw the rest of my day. And that is the story of my first and hopefully last time taking an ambulance, ending up in a hospital. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. But let me tell you about my day today, because it is the end of the day. It is the last vlog of this 12 days of Christmas vlog series. First question you might ask, when am I going to upload again? Well, let's see. Today's December 24th. I'm not going to upload Christmas. I will definitely upload a vlog the very next Sunday, which will be New Year's Day. Yeah. So that's my plan. Today, I really, my mom's home. Today I really didn't do that much. I woke up, I ate, I watched Home Alone 2. Not sure what else. Watched Home Alone 2, took a shower, relaxed, went back downstairs, ate a cheese stick, played my PlayStation, ate dinner, sat downstairs, played my PlayStation. That's about it. I'm gonna read. I'm about to read my 10 pages. I know I said I was gonna do that. Yesterday I didn't do it because, well, as you can tell, a lot happened yesterday. But I'm gonna read my 10 pages. Not gonna be on camera, but I promise you I'm gonna read my 10 pages. And I will make sure if I'll let you know in my next vlog how that's going. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna end this video. I hope you enjoyed this 12 days series. A lot happened. I started at school, took finals, got A's on those, drove 300 miles to get home, went to the hospital in between there, you know, saw some family in there, saw some friends in there. A lot's happened in the past 12 days. But that's going to be the end of this series. I might bring it back next Christmas. We'll see. It'll be better if I do. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you watched all 12, I appreciate you. And hopefully you have a great Christmas or holiday, whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays. See you in 2023.